Choosing the right sports betting platform can be tricky, as most mobile sports betting apps come with limited betting options and customization, delayed cash out and withdrawal times, and tedious customer support, and no true loyalty program with continuous rewards even after signing up. All of this leads to a frustrating, one-sided experience. So, how do you find the one which suits you best? Introducing Zen Sports. It combines the best of both worlds, a traditional sports book and a cutting-edge peer-to-peer marketplace. Zen Sports allows you to accept bets against the house, or use our peer-to-peer marketplace to create your own one-of-a-kind bet and set your own odds without the need for a bookmaker. At Zen Sports, you get more betting options and a cashback rewards through our unique welcome bonus, continuous loyalty program every month, and referral rewards delivered directly into your account. So what are you waiting for? Download the Zen Sports app today at zensports.com.
Welcome to Bluff City Bets, a Bluff City Media podcast. Join Daniel Greer and Chase Bobbitt as they give their plays of the day and strategies for success as a sports bettor. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, guys? This is Bluff City Bets presented by Zen Sports on Bluff City Media, complete coverage of all things Memphis sports. I'm your host, Chase Bobbitt. As you can see, a bit of a different look today. We're going to change things just a bit on the podcast going forward. I will be doing a podcast at the start of the week. Daniel will then be stepping in and doing a podcast at the end of the week, allowing us to cover more sports, get more accurate lines, as at times it can be difficult when we record on a Wednesday night to find and talk about bets that will be out on Sunday, when a lot of the time the lines won't even be out. If the lines are out, a lot of the times it will be a lot different by the time the game starts on Sunday. So this will allow us to cover more bases, if you will, talk about lines that are more accurate to what they will be when you are making these bets, and also give us more to talk about, as we will then be able to have 2 podcasts a week and get more in-depth on what's going on throughout the week, or for Daniel's sake, on the weekend. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get the podcast, and follow us on Twitter at Bluff City Bets. We've been very active on there, tweeting a lot of plays. Also on the Discord, we are very active, giving plays out nightly. Make sure to follow there, as there are plays on the Discord that cannot be found elsewhere. We are cashing nightly on the Discord, especially during baseball season, so make sure to check that out. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, catch up on all the shows on there, both on Bluff City Bets and on all the other great media outlets that we have over at Bluff City Media. So with that being said, as I mentioned, Zen Sports is our official sponsor for this podcast. It's an easy-to-use app. Download on iTunes, Android, wherever you get your apps. Earn an unlimited 5% cash back on your betting volume for the first 15 days. And then after that, up to 3% cash back for the rest of the time. Again, this is a great tool that they offer, a great asset, you could say, that they offer. Getting cash back, similar to a credit card, whatever it may be, rewards program, and taking that into the betting world. So, when you are putting this money up in betting, you are going to get some of that back, worst case scenario. Also, make sure to use our code BluffC to sign up, and then use your code to start earning commission as well. So, again, great app, just live in Tennessee, so make sure to check it out and get betting there. And besides that, we'll really get right into it. The format of the show will stay relatively the same. We'll go through our different segments, talk about around the league, talk about our best bets and big cash, bad beats, all that good stuff, and then get into our official play. So I'll still be giving an official play every podcast. I'm 4-1 on the official plays so far this year, so we're doing good, trying to stay hot on that side of it. And yeah, so again, nothing else will stay the same, and we'll get right into it. So the main thing with me, and the difference between maybe me and Daniel, is really just the sports that we like to watch, sports that we like to bet on. Daniel, as you've seen from the podcast so far, big into baseball, knows a lot about baseball. I cannot say the same for myself. I've started to dabble in it, and we'll talk about that a bit on some bad beats and big cash. But it's more just because there's nothing else going on right now that I've found myself betting a lot more baseball than I probably would like to. But we'll still have some baseball in there. So from my perspective, I played soccer. I've mentioned it before. So that's kind of my favorite sport, the sport that I bet on and watch most frequently, along with basketball. I've started to get into some other sports in this off time. Tennis is one that I've watched, and I actually enjoyed watching and gotten into that I wouldn't have expected me ever watching or betting, and golf as well. So we'll touch on a bunch of different things. Again, I have the midweek show, so a lot less going on during the midweek than you may find on a weekend in terms of like golf tournaments and stuff like that. But we'll get into the MLS to start off with for our Around the League segment. And MLS, if anyone is trying to get into soccer, doesn't know much about soccer, this is the top league in American soccer. Lionel Messi, obviously, if you haven't heard, just announced that he'll be joining the MLS, so that's going to bring a lot more eyes, a lot more attention to the league. The league plays in the summer, which is the off time for all the leagues in Europe, which is nice because they're not really competing with the leagues in Europe. It kind of carves out their own niche and allows you to follow and bet basically uninterrupted when it comes to soccer betting. So MLS, a lot of good goals, high-scoring games, exciting stuff. So very excited to talk about that. The games will be tomorrow, June 21st. So depending on when you're listening to this recording, make sure to go get those bets in as we touch on them here. So you have a 12-game slate tomorrow night, so a nice big slate for the MLS on a Wednesday night. To start off with, we'll stay with the Tennessee Zen Sports theme and go with Nashville SC against Montreal. So Nashville has been one of the hottest teams in the league. They are also one of the newest teams in the league, joining the MLS last season. They've had 10 points in the last 4 games, smoked a very good St. Louis team 3-1 on Saturday night. St. Louis did end up going down a man, and St. Louis is even a newer club than Nashville. But St. Louis has been playing very good soccer, and Nashville handled them very easily. So Nashville, one of the only teams in the MLS that does not concede a lot of goals, only conceded 13 goals this season, which is less than 1 goal per game. So in the MLS and just soccer in general, that's the most important thing. It's also the hardest thing to do is not concede. You see a lot of teams be able to score goals, but defending goals, completely other animal. So looking at Nashville, they're traveling to Montreal, which is historically a difficult place to play, unless you're Nashville, because Nashville has won 6 games in a row against Montreal, won both games last year as well. And I think you're getting very good value with Nashville at plus 165 on the money line. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with, and I've said it before with Daniel when we've talked about soccer, the tie aspect of it does make it, when you take the money line in terms of a team winning, you do have that extra risk, but you do get the juice at plus 165. I think Nashville, if they were at home, they'd probably be minus money, minus 105, minus 110. So I think at plus 165, you're getting very good value. Again, Nashville, I think defending travels more than anything else. Nashville beat Montreal both times last season, playing very good soccer currently. So I'm going to go with Nashville plus 165 on the money line. I think that is a very good value bet, a good line, and one that we'll start off with for the MLS. Looking at the next game, my hometown team, Orlando City, is at home against the Philadelphia Union. So Philadelphia lost their first game in over a month, last game against San Jose on Saturday night in San Jose. Again, MLS, home and away does really matter in the MLS. It does in other sports as well, but MLS with the home crowds and the atmosphere and soccer in general is very important. So Orlando dropped their last game 3-1 in New England. So Orlando traveling home, Philadelphia now traveling to Orlando. I like both teams to score here, and Orlando City, again, my hometown team, a team that I probably follow closer than anyone else in the MLS. Pretty much any time Orlando City plays, I'll give you a hint into my strategy. I normally just bet both teams to score. That's normally the way that it goes. They love to play chaotic games. Always have, probably always will. Both teams to score has hit in 9 of the last 10 games that these two teams have played. High-scoring games, Orlando City has scored in 7 straight games. Philadelphia has scored in 5 straight games, and the over 2.5 has hit in 5 of these 6 games that these two teams have played. So Philadelphia, 3rd in the Eastern Conference currently. Again, their first slip-up in a long time this past game, so they want to go into Orlando, get a result, kind of get things going back in the right direction, and from Orlando's perspective, back in front of their home crowd, trying to solidify themselves at the top of that Eastern Conference towards the playoff push. And yeah, so I like a high-scoring game in this scenario, a nice night game in Orlando. Expect a lot of goals, a lot of fireworks. It will be a very fun game to watch.
Choosing the right sports betting platform can be tricky, as most mobile sports betting apps come with limited betting options and customization, delayed cash out and withdrawal times, and tedious customer support. and no true loyalty program with continuous rewards even after signing up. All of this leads to a frustrating, one-sided experience. So, how do you find the one which suits you best? Introducing Zen Sports. It combines the best of both worlds, a traditional sports book and a cutting-edge peer-to-peer marketplace. Zen Sports allows you to accept bets against the house, or use our peer-to-peer marketplace to create your own one-of-a-kind bet and set your own odds without the need for a bookmaker. At Zen Sports, you get more betting options and a cashback rewards through our unique welcome bonus, continuous loyalty program every month, and referral rewards delivered directly into your account. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Zen Sports app today at zensports.com.
Now going into our bad beats and big cash segment, I'll honestly just be reading off my own sportsbooks bet slips rather than kind of go off of what people have submitted or tweeted. If you follow betting Twitter, you've probably already seen anything that I'm going to be reading out from other people's bets, so I'll be sticking to my own. We'll start with big cash. Very exciting one last night. Again, kind of forced myself to bet a lot more baseball than I normally would like to, but it has proven to be pretty profitable, honestly. And last night I took the San Francisco Giants plus 1.5 and over 2.5 runs scored. Parlayed those two together. They were at home against the San Diego Padres, two of the hottest teams in baseball. San Diego just came and beat the Rays, who are the best team in baseball, 2 games in a row. And then the Giants swept the LA Dodgers, scored like 15 runs in one of those games as well. So both teams have been playing good baseball, scoring a lot of runs. So I parlayed plus 1.5 for the Giants and over 2.5 runs. Minus 120 ended up being the odds that I ended up getting, and it was a sweat. San Diego started up on a 4-0 lead going into the bottom of the 5th inning. San Francisco hit a home run, makes it 4-1. We go into the bottom of the 6th inning, another home run, 4-2. And then from that point forward, we didn't have any runs until the bottom of the 9th inning, where San Francisco then went and scored 2 runs. In the bottom of the 9th, they scored that 3rd. So if they score 3, again, I had plus 1.5 and over 2.5 runs. So they scored the 3rd. I was like, all right, perfect. Lose the game now just because of the plus 1.5 being at risk for extra innings. And, of course, they score a 4th, end up going to extras, and it was a big sweat from that point forward. But fortunately, San Francisco did end up hitting a home run, walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th inning to win 7-4, cashing that plus 1.5 over 2.5 bet. I have one that I bet it twice. It will be a big cash and a bad beat at the same time. So I'll start off with the bad beat side of it. So I had a parlay in mind. I ended up, and again, I bet the parlay, but I added something to it, which ended up being the bad beat part of it. So it was Detroit Tigers plus 2.5 against the Royals, Texas Rangers plus 2.5 against the White Sox. It was over 3.5 runs for the Cincinnati Reds and plus 3.5 for the Cincinnati Reds. So that was the parlay. Bet that, used a profit boost, 25% profit boost to get that to plus 273. Hit that, but I also did it another time without the profit boost and added – I wanted to get it at plus 150 without the profit boost, and I've made it around 3 o'clock Central Time, 3:30 Central Time, when the Washington Nationals were already playing against the St. Louis Cardinals. Nationals were up 5-0 in the, I believe it was so Nationals were up 5-0 at the top of the 3rd inning. I took them minus 810. Why I put something in there with a bunch of juice, thinking, just add a little bit to the parlay, get it to plus 150, and we're good to go. Nationals lost 8-6. I'm sure anyone who had the Nationals would know that. I didn't even know that was possible in baseball. I know what's happened before, but didn't think that it was common to drop a 5-0 lead. So I was on the wrong side of that one. Granted, I was on the right side of a Giants comeback against the Padres, so I guess it evens out. So that was a tough one. But, again, I did end up putting it in without the Nationals one because I was frustrated and still like that bet. I liked it before and just threw that in there. So that ended up cashing. So that was a nice plus 271 bet there. Some other big cashes I had. Tennis has been a hot one for me, as I mentioned earlier, and actually my play of the game is a tennis bet, so we'll talk about that in a second. But just looking at some of the big cash that I've had in tennis, BetMGM has I don't know if any of the other books do, but I've noticed BetMGM allows you to buy set spreads up. So I usually take the favorite at plus 1.5 sets, so in case they were to lose. And 3 sets, normally the favorite will win at least 1 set. Obviously, that's not always the case, like anything in sports, but I'll take the favorite plus 1.5 on the set spread. So we had Rune and Tiafoe today, parlayed those two plus 1.5 on the spreads together for plus 104. And then we had another one that actually just cashed that I'll pull up now, which I'll read you the 3 names. And again, bear with me with tennis names. I am not, I don't watch much tennis. I've watched a bit more recently, but we had a plus 115. Dave Minyar, who played against Andy Murray, plus 1.5 set spread. Dimitrov, plus 1.5 set spread. And Coco Gauff, plus 1.5 set spread for plus 115. So, again, combine those together. BetMGM is the only place that I've seen that you can do it, but I'm sure there's other books out there that allows you to do it as well. That's a good strategy going forward if anyone is looking at getting into betting tennis and looking for a strategy to do so. That's been one that's been very profitable to me. So, as mentioned earlier, Zen Sports is the new sports book in Tennessee, revolutionizing the way that you earn sports betting rewards. That means no more deposit bonuses that turn into deposit nightmares. On Zen Sports, what you see is what you get. With their cashback rewards program, you get a lot of cash. For a welcome bonus, earn a 5% cashback unlimited on your betting volume for your first 15 days when you sign up with Bluff C as a bet code. That's right, unlimited 5% cash back. Keep betting, keep earning with up to 3% cash back on your betting volume every month after that. And refer your friends to earn a percentage of their betting volume as cashback rewards as well. Zen Sports is bringing the cash back to Tennessee. So if you bet big on sports, you want to be betting on Zen Sports. Zen Sports betting just got better. So again, thank you to Zen Sports for sponsoring the podcast. It's been a great addition to the sports betting community in Tennessee. Again, a lot of apps out there. I've always kind of jumped around what apps I'm using. Zen Sports has made it a lot easier to kind of keep your money in one place and get cash back in doing so. So thank you to Zen Sports, as always, for sponsoring the podcast. And with that, we'll get into our last segment, and that will be an official play. So as I mentioned, I have, and I'll get my official play out of my notepad here. I've been getting into tennis a lot more. Normally, and this reigns true during Grizzly season when I do the play of the game for the Grizzlies. I keep anything under a minus 180 threshold for the play of the game. Anything more than that, I don't really think it's fair to call it a play of the game and keep it as a record if you're taking that big of a favorite. So I keep it at minus 180 as the threshold, and we'll be going with Frances Tiafoe. Mentioned him earlier, 10th ranked tennis player in the world currently. Moneyline versus Sebastian Corda, so 2 Americans going at it in London. Tiafoe is currently minus 165 on the money line, and that will be my official play of the game. As I mentioned, Tiafoe just got into the top 10 ranking after his win in Stuttgart last week. That was on grass as well. As I've learned more and more about tennis, the surface does matter a lot. Some guys are just very good on clay. Some guys are very good on grass, hard court. The way that the ball bounces off of it and the speed of play is a lot different. So we've seen Tiafoe already be successful on grass just last week. He won in straight sets today when recording on Tuesday, June 20th. His opponent, Corda, as well, did win in straight sets, but it was a lot more difficult, and I think against a much worse opponent. I think Tiafoe is playing some of the best tennis in the world currently, and we'll want to go back-to-back on wins as we kind of near Wimbledon next month. So that will be the official play. Frances Tiafoe, money line. I believe it's at 10:45 a.m. Central Time, so make sure to get that in if you're listening before that. So, again, thank you all for listening. As always, make sure to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. Daniel will be taking over for you guys.
Thank you for listening to Bluff City Bets. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.